What's up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the Wise Take MLB DFS podcast. I'm your host, CK013. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013, and I am joined once again by the Triple OG of the Wise Take Nation, Mr. Patio Joe. You can find him on Twitter at Patio Joe Ref. Joey, looking good with the fresh cut, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's Thursday night. We have a huge Friday slate, so I took today off, and because Wednesday was kind of a massacre, so I just kind of took today off, and just kind of concentrate on tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. I know you always preach on taking days off to kind of clear your head. Plus, you're got a lot going on. You're a parent father of twins and an older son, so. Yeah, I would imagine. But yeah, you probably made the right choice. I mean, maybe you would have gotten things right. I continued. This is the second night in a row where I tried to be really contrarian, and it didn't pay off. Mm-hmm. So, trying to find that balance of not playing chalk, but not at the same time, like just get the next best thing. Like maybe the guy doesn't have to be 2-4%. Just play the guy if he's in a good spot. Because a lot of times, if you notice, like on a lot of these slates, it's usually like the second or third team down the list that ends up doing it. So a lot of times it's like the numbers are going to point you to the same thing. So everybody's looking at that one stack, that one Boston. But in reality, when you're playing tournaments, most of the time, it's going to fail more, and it's because baseball is like a fail sport, right? If a hitter is hitting 300, he's only getting a hit over 30% of the time. Which in any other sport, like if a guy's shooting percentage in NBA is 30%, they're gonna say he's terrible. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, put things in perspective a little bit there. We have a huge slate.
It was like the Cardinals.
Yeah.
It was like the Cardinals tonight.
Yep.
They were going against Musgrove. Musgrove hadn't given up one home run all year. Yeah. And he still didn't give up. I don't think he gave up any home runs.
I don't think so.
They
just double and single and walk and double and they're just doubling him to death. Seattle really, really killed me today. I was very surprised they struck out by J. Happ, but they get Erod today in Boston. So this is I'm very, very. We have a lot here. We have a lot of great pitchers. We have a lot of awesome hitting spots. This slate has a little bit of everything. I know I always say this for large slates, and I'm not always right, but I gotta say this has to be a high scoring slate. Like this has got to be like. With all the different stacks that we have, all the different variations that you could possibly play, and all the good spots on both pitching and hitting, like how is it not? It's just
Well, the only thing is I think just from first look though, I said at least on FanDuel, there's a lot of guys that I like up top, and there's not much I like down below. Yeah. So you're going to have to pick and choose where you want to go or make a lot of teams.
And typically that's where you want to go in a large slate anyway, because there's going to be so many different options out there that you're more likely to find something that's going to fit what you're looking for to get the rest of what you want, whether it's spending up at pitching or spending up at like that huge expensive stack. So let's go ahead and jump right in, Joey. Let's talk cash games as we always do. Who's our SP1 as of right now?
On FanDuel or on DraftKings, boy, I mean, I don't know what his price is on DraftKings, but right now I am really heavily looking into Luis Castillo. This is going to be the second time that he's faced the Giants. He's looked great, though. The Giants are coming off of a series in San Francisco, in Colorado, so we know the Coors effect has worked. It worked on Monday really good against the Diamondbacks. They just looked terrible against Snell. And I wanted to do a little bit more digging to see how teams have fared so far coming off of Coors. But, I mean, if I were to tell you that if it wasn't coming off of Coors, you get Castillo, the way that he's been against one of the worst offenses in the league, in that ballpark, I think you would like him anyways. So he's can be a little volatile. I won't say anything. But if you look at Verlander, this is the third time that he's faced Texas in this year. So it's really tough for me to go there. And Glasnow has been great, but the Yankees have a decent enough lineup. And then if you keep going down below, obviously we can talk about other options, how they're priced on DK, but I'd also be looking at Wheeler and Odorizzi. Those are two other names that kind of stand out that I'm going to want to look at maybe for SP1s on FanDuel and DraftKings.
I think that Castillo is certainly viable in all formats against the Giants. I do think that, like you said, there's not a ton of cheap options that you feel good about, especially in cash. So I think like coming down to like a Zach Wheeler on DraftKings where you're saving, what is it like? I think you're saving like $900 to come down to Wheeler. That might be on this kind of slate. That might be worth it here. What's the price difference between them on FanDuel?
Between Wheeler and whom?
Your boy Castillo.
Castillo is 10.5 and Wheeler's 9.2, so it's 1,300. So it's at least one more back.
Right. So I guess it's more. I mean, let me ask you this. I know the Coors effect is in play for Castillo, but let me ask you this: who do you think is a worse offense, Miami or the Giants?
Right now, I would think Miami is a worse offense. The way that they've been playing lately.
I agree with you. The issue. So I feel like Wheeler may be a little bit more safe. The issue, though, of course, is Wheeler does not have the. I mean, Wheeler can get strikeouts, but he does not have the strikeout stuff that Luis Castillo has. Luis Castillo has the highest swinging strike rate on this massive slate, which is saying a lot at 14.9%. And he gets one of the best parks you can get in San Francisco. So I'm totally with it, but I think that if you're having a hard time reaching Castillo, it's probably okay to come down to Wheels. I don't think that's going to kill you. It's just hard for me to see, how the Marlins. I fear no one against the Marlins.
I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to be as chalk. I mean, because remember he was chalk a couple weeks ago and he kind of busted.
Wheeler?
I think it was. Yeah. So he's not going to be as chalk as he was that night because I think it wasn't a Friday. It was a different slate, such, and he wasn't coming off. But if you look at just the other guys around him, maybe the other guy then at least on DK that I'm looking at that I think is a good price is Odorizzi.
Yeah.
We've been looking.
I'm just going to say this. Odorizzi's been looking really good. I think that the Tigers have been.
Can I say hi here?
Up and down.
Say hi.
Hi.
Hey, what's up, Tyler? What's going on, buddy?
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Catch you later.
All right.
Catch you later.
See you later. All right.
It's getting big, man.
Yeah.
But
Good night,
but
bud.
yeah, like the Tigers have been for the most part bad. Every once in a while they'll kind of pop and just ruin somebody's night. But for the most part they've been bad. My issue is Odorizzi is so close in price to like these other options. I just don't see myself, at least in a cash game, going to him. Like just going by name value. I got Kenta Maeda, who's very, very cheap on FanDuel, I know. Right? How much is Kenta Maeda on FanDuel?
He is 7.6 now. On
wild.
DK, he's 9.2.
Yeah.
That's way too much.
So like we're missing a balance, but it's hard for me to maybe I'm looking at it from too much of a tournament perspective, but I see other guys that are too close to him, and I know he's been good, but it's still Jake Odorizzi, and like you know what I'm saying. So like in tournaments, I of course, but in cash games that would make me nervous. It would make you nervous to ride with like. Okay, I got Odorizzi in cash, and I'm paying 8.8, mind you. He's looked good. Don't get me wrong. I know exactly where you're coming from, but I don't know, man. I just look at him and say, Odorizzi, I'm gonna pay 8.8 for this dude in cash. Like,
I mean, then you obviously have got to be looking at him as an SP2 option. Then,
well, that's exactly what you would be looking at. Yeah. But there's some interesting options. I think Pablo Lopez can gain some traction against the Mets. He's 8-1. Right, like he's looked pretty good. He hasn't ceilinged the way that Odorizzi has ceilinged recently. But I guess then the next question, man, and maybe this is a tournament only type of thing, but you mentioned him a little. Yeah, it's definitely a tournament only kind of thing because he's not stretched out. But Dylan Kobe, we'll talk about in tournaments. In cash, it's just a no because he's not stretched out. You can't take a guy that's just not stretched out. So he's out of the equation. Let's go ahead and talk about tournaments. Does the top stay the same for you? I'm assuming because Castillo, again, like. He makes for a great tournament option as well.
I think Glasnow. You got to talk about Glasnow then. It's the same concept with me in Verlander. If I was going to do that, if I was going to go to Verlander, I would just go to him in cash then if I was confident about it. I just think facing this team for the third time in these year, I'm not going to do it right now in 6 weeks. Glasnow, there has been reports that they might like limit some of his innings and stuff like that. So I want to read a little bit more on that. I heard some things. I don't know if it's going to be starting now, but they might try and curve something a little bit. But he's going against the Yankees on a Friday night. They might have maybe 9,000 people there. They're averaging like 7,500 right now, so they might have 9,000 people for this game. But the guy that's interesting that to me that I think might be fool's gold is Domingo Germán. He has some great game logs, good numbers. But if you look at who he's faced, Detroit, Baltimore, the White Sox, Kansas City, the Angels, Giants, and the Twins. Like, he hasn't faced very many good offenses, and he gets the Rays tomorrow. To me, I feel like we'll get into them a little bit more. I feel like the Rays might be a very sneaky type of stack tomorrow that people might not go to at all. But what do you think about Germán?
I'm not really interested. Number one, the Yankees, like, he's too expensive, and he's not quite elite yet for me to want to pay that price for Germán. He's 9.5 on DraftKings. Like you said, the Rays, one of the better teams in the game, and the Rays are actually pretty big favorites in this contest. So I think that I'm not really interested. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if he did well, but we have so many good arms that I'm just like, I'm not going to chance that against the Rays, who have been red hot and might be getting a little healthier. It looks like Austin Meadows is questionable, so he may actually make his return, as well as Mike Zunino, who's been out for a little bit too. So, I mean, Brandon Lau, and like what that does with Austin Meadows, it's one more lefty that makes things tough. We're gonna want to, what it comes down to is we're gonna want to see if Tampa can hit the curveball. That's a pretty big pitch for Germán. It's something he throws really, really well. We're gonna have to look into that and see if we can hit the curve. But as far as pitching, to answer your question, no, I really wasn't. Only because we have so many other options. He just wasn't the guy that I went to. Like I'm there's no way that I'm pitching Germán against the Rays, the red hot Rays, over like Wheeler against the Mets for $200. I mean, against the Marlins for $200 more. You know what I'm saying? I'd love to get Wheeler against the Mets. I'd love to get that. That would be phenomenal right now, the way the Mets are hitting. Yeah, I think. Let me ask you about. Let's talk about Maeda for a second here, because on FanDuel he's very cheap. So maybe he becomes trendy, maybe he gets popular. I know he hasn't looked great, but one thing about Maeda is he has pitched better at home over his career. His WOBA is significantly lower. He's actually got he's got the third highest swinging strike rate on the slate at 13.3%. However, he only has a 20.6% K rate. His big issue has been walks, obviously. I mean, you have a 9.7 K to walk ratio. That's not good. You have a 10.9 walk rate. That's not good. But he's at home. Maybe he's a little more stable. The Nationals are a team I don't really want to mess with a lefty, unless they're like elite. But a righty, you got a lot of high strikeout rates. They did get Rendon back, but they are still very, very hurt, missing Trey Turner, who's one of their best players. Ryan Zimmerman as well. Adams. They're missing these guys. So assuming that they're still missing these guys, which I'm pretty sure they are, Maeda, on DraftKings, I'm actually interested, even though I think he's too expensive. On FanDuel, I'm definitely interested, at least in tournaments. What do you think? You're the Dodgers.
Yeah, I think he's your pay down guy right now at first look to get whatever bats you want to get in there. At 7.6, you can get him in there. I just think if you look at the other guys on the slate that are just down below, we're going to want to teabag most of these guys with the offenses. Yeah. I mean, you're just not going to want to go there. You're just not. I mean, no. I look at guys and I kind of like pause for a second, like Pablo Lopez, I guess. Yeah, but I'd rather take Maeda at home against, than Lopez on the road against the Mets. We all know that they come out and with their lefties, they could get a couple home runs and Lopez is out of the game. There's really nobody else that kind of stands out. I mean, maybe you could maybe go into the Philly Kansas City game and look at guys like Arrieta and stuff like that, or Homer Bailey. But
I think I'd be more likely to pitch Bailey than to pitch Arrieta. I don't want to mess with the Royals right now. Listen, I played Peacock against them, but that was because they threw out a watered down lineup. They basically took the night off and they threw out a watered down lineup. I don't think I want to mess with a guy that can't get. I mean, maybe that works better for him. Arrieta's a guy that's comfortable pitching to contact. Maybe that's how you get the Royals. But Homer Bailey though at 5'8" in a tournament, for an SP2, I don't hate it. They are in Kansas City. It's a great pitching park. He's looked a little better this year. It could go terrible. It could go terribly wrong for you. But at the same time, the Phillies had like one game where they finally like woke up, and it was a lot of it was due to like errors, and then Bryce Harper hit a grand slam. But like against what's that dude's name from the Cardinals that sucked, massive ass. Let me ask you about one more guy, and then we'll get into the bat show. Tournaments. Are you interested in the player that has the second highest swinging strike rate on the slate, behind Castillo at 14.1%? That man is German Marquez against the San Diego Padres in Coors Field.
Well, you're going to get him at a lower price than he normally would at 7.9.
He's 7.9 over there. See, on DraftKings, he's in the 9s. Nobody's playing Marquez tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's in the 9s. Nobody's playing him.
Yeah, I think that he would be. I mean, like if you're doing, I think if you're doing 5 lineups, I would do at least one with him. You know, I mean, he has a strikeout upside. We know that these Padres can strike out to righties. I mean, if you can get a QS and 6 or 7 strikeouts, even if he gets up a couple home runs, I think you'll take it at 7.9. You know, and he's probably gonna win.
Mm.
Well, I mean, what's it? He's probably a heavy favorite. Yeah, minus 172.
Yeah.
So you got guys. Yeah, I think I'm with it. He is very, very. You're going to get him at a low price, coming off of a huge like Coors series where the Giants absolutely just crushed the ball against the Rockies.
Mm-hmm.
People aren't going to want to go there.
No.
But the first game in, they always say it's the way when you want to attack these teams.
Right.
Am I right? Isn't that what they usually say? The first game in Coors times is the way it kind of.
They say that it takes a day to adjust or so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
yeah.
I agree with you, though. In tournaments, I think in tournaments, if you have multiple teams, you do grab some because no one else is. Right? Like
Marquez has just as much upside, higher upside than Maeda, and up there with, you know, the guys up in the 10K ranges tomorrow. So why not? You know, you're going to get him at a low price. I mean, a low, you know, ownership, and the price is $7,900 on FanDuel. Why not?
On FanDuel, it's a lot easier to stomach. The problem is on DraftKings, you at least get 2 pitchers. So even if you take, you know, Marquez, you're not like sacrificing as much as you are on FanDuel. On FanDuel, that's it. You get 1 pitcher. So that team is reliant on that dude. On DraftKings, yeah, you want him to do well, but you have another pitcher who could maybe offset. But I think you're right. I think if you're playing tournaments, you want to grab some because I don't think anyone else will. Like you said, who's pitching Marquez even over Maeda on FanDuel tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, who's doing it on DraftKings? It's the same thing. Maeda's $100 more. I feel like most are just going to say, I'd rather just stick with the good park, especially after the way Coors has been going off.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, he's been going off.
Let's talk about some of these bats, Joe. There's a lot of them to discuss. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, like I did a quick glance from what we have now, and I think the Angels are actually tied with the Red Sox for the highest implied run totals. The Angels with a 6 and Boston also with a 6. The Angels...
And that's...
What's that?
That's more than the Rockies, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 5.8 for the Rockies. The Angels are going up against Dan Straley in Baltimore. They've been red hot. It's going to be about 75 degrees, 67% humidity, 8-mile-an-hour winds blowing at the center. Straley has been awful, just completely awful. And then the Red Sox are going up against Eric Swanson, who seems to have kind of been skating by a little bit. I think we're all waiting for the regression spot to come. He's not a big strikeout dude. And it's going to be 62 degrees, 85% humidity, so a little warmer from what we've seen over there. It's been cold up there. And from what I see now, it's the night before, but we'll see where it changes. 13-mile-an-hour winds potentially blowing out to left center. Talk to me about both of these offenses, and tell me which one you like more.
Boy. Red Sox have they've been like the biggest tease this week, too, because they've been the chalk almost every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. They were the chalk against these same Orioles. So you get a pitcher almost the same type of guy where you're going to optimize on the optimizer, and they're going to spit out all these Red Sox tomorrow. And on paper, it's going to look good. If you look at Swanson, he's pitched okay against bad offenses, and the only decent offense absolutely destroyed him in Texas. You know, he at Kansas City, Cleveland twice, and then the Padres. So, I like the Red Sox tomorrow. They were one of the first offenses that stood out to me when it comes out. And then on the other side, man, I believe it or not, I kind of like the other team better than the Angels. I like the Orioles better than the Angels tomorrow against Cahill, who got destroyed against the Astros, gave up 600 runs, gave up 400 runs against the Yankees, 5 earned runs against the Mariners, and 4 earned runs. I mean, he's just been getting torched just as much. So I like them. I won't like them just as much as the Angels. I mean, you think about it, they're going to be cheaper, they're going to be less owned, can score just as many runs. Cahill is no better than Straley, and they're a little bit cheaper than these Angels. But I do like the Angels. Obviously, Trout, Ohtani, Lastea is definitely, if he's leading off, good value. So I like him. I like it more as a game stack in general too. So it's tough. Those just right there, those are 3 teams that you're just going to want to play. And we haven't even gotten the Coors or the Twins or the Astros or the Dodgers.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think that the Angels are a team I'm probably going to want a piece of, but I guess they're going to be chalky. I mean, like, even there's even BVP there, Joe. Like, Mike Trout's got good BVP. I think Pujols has good BVP. He had a dunk. They've been so hot. The Angels, they've really been hot, man. And, like, we're not playing them a ton when they're home, but this is one of the best ballparks you can get, like, outside of Coors Field. And
wind blowing out 8 miles an hour, too.
It's tough. I agree with you on the Baltimore side. I think, like, they could be very valuable because of the pitching that we have. They could become very valuable because they're so cheap. They continue to just be extremely cheap. We've got, on DraftKings, Chris Davis, who everybody loves, is 3-1. Steve Wilkerson, who's actually been playing well, 3-6. I'm sorry, 3-5. So they're still cheap, even though they have a good matchup. I agree with you. Cahill has taken a huge step backwards. I mean, like 2 or 3 steps backwards. He's been awful this year. But yeah, I think right now that I'm looking at the Angels and I'm loving it. I like the Red Sox as well. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to downplay them. But for tournament purposes, while we're talking about it, I actually like the idea of going back to the Seattle offense against Erod. Seattle played Hap today, and Hap just destroyed them. Just completely destroyed them. They scored 10 runs the night before, and Hap comes in, does his dirty. And, like, I knew that was a possibility because even though if you look at the numbers for Seattle, their numbers are great against lefties, except one thing. They have been striking out a shit ton against lefties. Their strikeout rates are very, very high. And I think in the Erod situation, we're in a similar thing. I don't think anybody is going to be, coming in and looking to play Seattle on this slate opposed to everything else, especially with some of their prices. But they've still been hot. They have lefty mashers. It's Erod, a guy that I think eventually will go back towards his fly balls. And there's 13-mile-an-hour winds blowing out. So these 4 teams, I'll say, are very appealing. And that's just 2 games.
Yeah.
Talk to me, Joe, about some of the other offenses that maybe stand out. You talked about the Rays and how you felt like they were sneaky. I agree with you on that. Are there any other teams, like the Twins? Let's talk about the Twins, right? 5.5 projected runs. Right.
I'm always ready to talk about the Twins.
I'm sure.
The Twins are in my life every day. I mean, I was on the Y stream on Wednesday. Remember, I go the Twins. I love the Twins against Thornton, and they wound up putting up 9 runs and stuff like that. They're coming back home facing Tyson Ross. They have a 5.5 run total. I mean, they're one of the best teams in baseball right now with their with their pitching and their hitting the way it is. I really like these guys tomorrow, and I think that you're going to get them fairly low owned again. I don't think you're really gonna have to worry much about ownership tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree.
I honestly think people will go to the Red Sox, and people will go you'll know who the chalk is when you just hit optimize. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's who the chalk will be. But if you get off of any of that, you're gonna be contrarian. So it's a matter of really just finding the offenses tomorrow that you like. I mean, I'm going to like the Twins. I'm going to have a little bit of them. And, the Astros against Lance Lynn, these lefties, Brantley's going to be back in the lineup. Reddick at 2.8. Reddick is a great cash play. I like playing him almost every game, and he's never really above like 3K. Pretty decent value, and he'll always usually make value. And then the other teams, obviously, we could talk about the Rockies. They're going to be popular. I think the A's are going to be popular too against Cody Anderson, who got absolutely his tits lit last time out.
I still don't think the A's will be popular. Nobody ever plays the A's, man.
No. I don't know if I'm popular. I don't know if I'm popular. But maybe that's who I like.
Right. Yeah. I'm down with that. They've been cold, but like I'm down. Cody Anderson is terrible.
Yeah, let me see. His last start, he was a -7. He was two-thirds of an inning and gave up 4 runs, and he got pulled in. And 2.2. I mean, he's just not a Major League Baseball pitcher right now. And then some of these lefties against Tehran, I wouldn't mind in the D-backs.
Even that game, dude. That whole game in general. I don't mind the Braves against Greinke either. A righty against against these guys. Like I think that game's also got
And then the Dodgers. The Dodgers against Anibal Sanchez.
Yeah.
These lefties. And Turner.
Yeah.
Who's now they finally moved his price up a little bit. But I will say this, guys, I would fade Cody Bellinger up until I see him hit another home run right now.
I think 5,900 over here. Holy shit.
Yeah, he's 4,800 on FanDuel. He's the same price as Nolan Arenado tomorrow. Play Nolan Arenado if you're going to play up that high. I don't know. There's talk around LA, like I'm in on Twitter and stuff like that, the beat writers, that Bellinger is not 100% right now. You know, he got hurt last weekend in San Diego. Do you remember that, CK?
Yeah.
And they're just saying that like he was out 2 games and he came back and he can play, but you could just tell like his power is just not there right now. So maybe wait until you see it, or you see the exit velocity go up a little bit, because they're saying that he's not 100% healthy. So I guess in a stack, have him if you wanted to have him, but I would like some other Dodgers instead.
I mean, he's certainly expensive. He'll be very low owned. I could definitely tell you that, because he is expensive on DraftKings. All right, Joe. There's obviously a lot to cover. We're not going to get to all of it, but I do think that we did talk about some key points. There's a lot. It's going to be high scoring. Being contrarian doesn't mean you have to play bad players or bad plays, especially on a slate like this. You don't have to do much to be contrarian here. So just, follow.
You could just fade like the 2 top teams, you think. Whatever. Fade the Red Sox and the Rockies.
You really could. You could fade all of them, because there's like 4 or 5 other stacks you can make a case for and have just as good of
go to war.
Yeah. At a fraction of the ownership. Although ownership won't be that big of a deal, I agree. We'll do the cash game core, the top 3s, the don't watch. But first, gonna remind everybody, if you haven't already, check us out at wisestake.com. Get to the nation. Come join the nation. We are a Wisestake DFS community and a premium content provider. Tomorrow's a great day to come. We have this massive, awesome slate that we'll have totally researched and broken down. We have the Y stream with Joey and Cam, the father-son duo, tomorrow. Cam's cheat sheet will be out. Joey's also on the cash game article. I'll be writing the tournament article. And we got projections. Any other articles we decide to do, you get, with a day pass, $2.50. All the cost to try us out for a day. You get access to all of our content. After you do that and you see the Wisestake Nation is really where it's at and where you need to be a successful DFS player, get yourself a monthly membership or higher and get access to our Slack chat. That's the only thing you don't get with the day pass. The Slack chat is where our members shop with the slate every day with our analysts amongst themselves and just improve their game and they sweat together and try to improve what they're doing, be better players. So I highly recommend it. Wisestake.com. Joey, Catch Game Core, SP1. Are we just going to do Castillo and just try to make it work from there?
Yeah, but before we get to the Cash Game Core, guys, I wanted to give the Wisestake Nation a little update on the first son of the Wisestake Nation. He's not going to be coming back this weekend. He's going to get a couple more at-bats down in Syracuse, and hopefully Monday, Cash Game Porn will be activated from the injured list.
Said Larry. Coming back.
The first son of the Wisestake Nation.
Yeah. Yeah. Joey,
I hope he's getting that.
Joey got a lot of kids, bro. I tell you what. Joey got Cam. He got 3 kids of his own. He's got Jed Lowry. Papa Joe.
Cash game.
It's turning into that. It's going from Patio
That
Joe.
was I named him that 2 years ago, guys, if anybody knows. And he was just like always like 26, 2700.
Always dirt
and he
cheap.
just
And all he
boom,
did
boom,
was he
boom.
would just hit doubles every day. Just doubles every day. That's all he did. You know?
Doubles and sevens on him.
And dropping sevens. He just dropped sevens on him all day. That's right, Joey. That's right, Joey.
All right. So we're gonna go with Castillo to start off with. Just right now, lock him in.
Give me an SP2 for DraftKings.
SP2 for DraftKings. I'm gonna go with Odorizzi.
All right.
Is that too much though? If it's too much, we can go down. Well, we don't really want.
There's Tahu, like the only guy. If you wanted to punt it and it's too good up top, you can't because other people won't. They'll play 2 guys that could potentially drop a 30 on your ass. So like you kind of have to pay up.
Mm-hmm.
They handcuff you a little bit.
No.
I think the cheapest you could attempt to go, and
maybe Homer Bailey.
maybe in tournaments.
I mean,
sure.
seriously, he's the lowest. He should not be the lowest pitcher on this slate. No way.
I agree with
DraftKings.
that, but there's no way I could play him in cash against the Phillies.
No.
Like that team is just.
I agree.
Maybe I guess we're gonna have to do a double pay up. For now, we can go Maeda or Wheeler and just try and just see what we can do.
Well, just go to Odorizzi then, because it's 8-8, because he's less than that. Just do Castillo and Odorizzi. That's a little less than, because he's 8-8 and Maeda is 9-7 and
Like,
or
on
9.
on DraftKings, it's almost like you're better off. I feel like going like Maeda and Wheeler or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because like you're still in the same range, but you're not having to play a guy that like I don't want to play in cash in Odorizzi. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
All right, Joe. Who's the stud that you think we need to get? Is it Mookie? Is it Benintendi? Is it?
No, it's I'm gonna go with Arenado.
Arenado at third base and Coors. Oh yeah, against a lefty. I forgot.
Against Lowry.
We didn't even really talk about the Rockies either.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Arenado, I'm with it. 5700. Value play on FanDuel while I look for one on DraftKings.
Yeah, I'm looking for one too at this moment. The guy that sort of stands out at this moment, I'm gonna go with. I actually, believe it or not, I want to maybe stay in that game and go with Mark Reynolds at first base. It's for 3K.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good price.
A little mini stack right there, and you get your Coors kind of exposure.
Dude, to be honest, he's only 4-2 on DraftKings. Him and Desmond are both cheap. I think you could do that. I mean, like I know that's not like a value play, but I think it's a cash play because of how cheap he is. So I think we'll just kind of let it ride with there. If you really want a value, you can always go to Wilkerson. He's second base and outfield eligible, 3,500. So he's flexible over there. He's been playing well against Cahill, who Joey hates. So I think we're good there. Top 3 pitchers, Joey.
Top 3 pitchers: Castillo, Odorizzi. I'm sorry, I'm rolling with him, and Marquez.
I will go with. I'm gonna go with Wheeler, Maeda, and Marquez for now. I'm realistically in tournaments. I will be rolling the dice on a cheap dude at least in one team, but I don't know who that is just yet. Maybe Homer Bailey, maybe Kobe. I don't know yet.
I mean, I'm gonna probably go with tomorrow. I'll probably have a team with Maeda, a team with Marquez, and then
I'm sure
probably a team with Castillo too. I just think he's in a prime spot.
I agree. He looks great. All right, top 3 stacks.
Let's narrow it down to 3. The Twins, the Orioles, and the Red Sox.
I'll go with the Angels. I'll go with the Twins as well. I do like that a lot, actually. And I'll go with Seattle. That's my little sneaky sneak. Don't watch Joey. Who's going deep?
Oh, boy. Let's go with Arenado.
Arenado, can't get mad at that. I will go with Otani. I think Otani finally gets one.
That's a good one.
Otani.
I'm going with Eddie Rosario.
I like that a lot. I'll go with Kepler in the same game.
And I'm going to go with Brandon Lau.
Brandon Lau, I like that. From Tampa. Damn it, where are they? I'm going to go with a guy that I really thought was going to do the dirty today, but he did not. And, maybe I'm not going to go with that guy because I don't like what I'm seeing there. So, with that said, Joe, I will go with Mike Trout.
There you go.
There you go. That was easy.
It's crazy that he's like not the highest, you know what I mean, on the slate.
Yeah, the best player in the game is not even the most expensive on this slate against Straley in Baltimore.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think it shows you that like people aren't really doing it. The Angels are low owned every day, and they've been smashing. You know.
Yeah, this might be the first day where I don't enter like a higher dollar tournaments and like
Just
go with
more
a lot
teams.
more lineups.
Yeah, definitely a good day for more teams.
Lower
more
level.
teams, the better.
It's just because there's so many teams to go. I mean, we could probably do like another top three.
Oh yeah.
Like let's do second three.
Oh yeah.
Favorite stacks: Rockies, A's.
Yeah, there's plenty,
Dodgers.
There's plenty to discuss.
Next three stacks, boom. Yeah. Angels, Toronto. You keep going. And it's crazy tomorrow. It's going to be a crazy slate. And so just buckle up.
That's it. It'll be a fun Y stream with you and Cam tomorrow. That's for sure.
Yeah, if we're on the same things tomorrow, that's going to be crazy. Because
it's just so. Yeah, it feels like it's going to be so spread out. But that's going to do it for the MLB podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, click that thumbs up, that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching on Facebook, give us a like and a share to support the Wise Nation. If you're watching us on Twitch or Twitter, give us a follow, give us a retweet. And if you're listening to us on Podbean or iTunes, give us some 5-star reviews. Joey, anything in closing before we get up out of here?
Oh, man, I think I might stay up a little later and do some research and get into this Friday slate a little bit.
There's a whole hell of a lot to research, that's for sure.
Yeah, I like it because as the night goes on, there more and more like information becomes available, and it's nice.
Yeah, for sure. For Patio Joe, for myself, the entire Wise Nation, as always, good luck.
Yeah.